swag of a prize fighter. The antithesis of a firefighter. Arsonist, I'm a fire rider. Instant flame like a firelighter. So special with shows, I live out my flows. Can't walk in my shoes, can't purchase my clothes. Ice in my veins, but I never froze. Picture perfect, but I never pose. As a juvenile, I knew I bounced back. Got rated, had a plan to get my ounce back. Use cheese as bait, that's a mousetrap. Let me to the right person to pounce at. They selling dreams, I'm pulling receipts. Full force, we can't be beat. Got a dirty mouth, but the flow so neat. Keep your 2 cents, talk is cheap.
The next topic we're going to discuss on Boxing Bros is, has Canelo become the underdog in fights with Dimitri Bivol and David Benavidez? Based on the way the public is talking, they're saying Canelo is past his prime. They're saying that he didn't look good. He couldn't knock out John Ryder. People are high on Dimitri Bivol. People are high on David Benavidez. So I'm turning over to you, Conspira G. Is Canelo now the underdog in fights against Dimitri Bivol and David Benavidez?
Yes, he is the underdog against Bivol. Against Benavidez, no. And the reason why is obvious. Bivol already beat Canelo, so if past fights, is a marker for the future, then most likely Bivol will win, But in regards to Benavidez and Canelo, although Benavidez looked great against Caleb Plant, there's levels, man. So I haven't seen Benavidez fight the likes of a Canelo before. So that will be a real test for Benavidez's career. So to say that Canelo's the underdog, I don't know, man. That's a little reckless, but it makes sense for Canelo to be the underdog against Bivol. So, yeah, for Bivol, underdog. Benavidez, he's still the top dog for now. Go ahead.
Be real, G.
I am being real.
Be real, G.
Yo, man.
G. No,
I
G.
feel like when I'm honest,
G. Hold up, G. G.
Yeah.
Who would you pick, Benavidez or Canelo in that fight?
Yeah, man, listen. All right.
Keep it $150, G.
Yo, if them two fight like next, you know me, man. Yo, this is G23. I'm going with my man Benavidez, man. I'm keeping it 100. But I don't mean that Benavidez got this. It ain't like he's going in there and I'm like, yo, Canelo's food. I'll be lying to myself. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like a Haney Loma situation. This is a lot different. This is Canelo, who's been like steamrolling everybody. Like what Trill was saying, he takes body parts. You know what I'm saying? So Benavidez would be reckless to go in there like thinking like, yo, I'm gonna do him dirty. Like, there's a strong chance Canelo might do him dirty. So it's one of those. It's a good fight. But I want to see, me personally, I'd rather see Canelo fight Benavidez than Canelo fight Bivol, because I already seen Canelo with Bivol. And I've been wanting to see Canelo versus Benavidez for forever, And so I was told, hey, Benavidez, you get past Caleb Plant, then you'll get your opportunity at Canelo. Well, I'm waiting to see that. So I don't know. But again, I'm not calling no Canelo no underdog for no Benavidez. That's not realistic.
All right, Dollar Bill.
I don't know. I'm a little different. Everybody knows I'm a helpless romantic, I see it different. Okay. I feel like this is why I like Canelo. People was like, yo, Trill, why you like Canelo so much, right?
Why you like Canelo, man?
Why I like Canelo? Because I feel like he's always been the underdog. Like, when people say, like, what do you mean, Trill? Like, you see Canelo 5'7". He's been small. When he was at 160, he was smaller than the guys he was fighting. He was the underdog coming in these fights with these guys, these so-called boogeymen.
Hold on.
Then he goes to 168. You know what I'm saying? And the same thing. He's fighting these guys that's over 6 feet. These guys that are bigger than him. Then we doing it again. We fighting the guys that the Kovalevs, all these guys. They putting this because it's Canelo, right? So we're not gonna say like, oh, we're not gonna give him props because for the 5'7" guy beating the guy that's 6'2", because it's Canelo, right? Because he's not an underdog. That's an underdog. Now you're talking about against the Bivol and the Benavidez. Yeah, he's the underdog, and that's what makes it exciting. Because you're seeing this guy who is 5'7", 5'8", going against Benavidez, who is a bigger guy, and he's 6'2". And
probably rehydrate 15, 20 pounds over.
He's coming in there weighing 200 pounds. And he's 6'2". Then you got Bivol, same thing, over 6 feet. Canelo is the underdog, and that's why I rock with him. It's the David and the Goliath every time this man steps in the ring.
John Ryder was taller than him.
You know what I'm saying? Canelo got to start doing what Tank do and wearing platform shoes. That's what he got to start doing, because I'm sick and tired of everybody looking down at him at the weigh-in. Every time, even Caleb Plant was looking down at him. You know what I'm saying? Everybody, Conor Smith, Rocky Fielding, everybody, this taller than a bit. Yeah, it's a real underdog story that we're watching here. We're watching this short guy, what people will call vertically challenged. You know? Smashing on the bigger guys. That's some underdog story type to me. Go ahead, G.
All right, my counter to that would be then pretty much Mike Tyson's entire career where he was the underdog.
Yeah, that's what made him. Listen, Mike Tyson.
When you're so superior in every other skill set,
listen,
are you still an underdog just because of your height?
Look at all the guys who beat Mike, though. Their size played a role in them beating Mike, bro.
Yeah, but what I'm just saying is
his victories made it better because he was the smaller guy weaving under and knocking out these big guys, and how big they were falling like trees.
But couldn't
and
that
Canelo having that same effect? But people are not looking at it. But people taking away from and people started taking away from what Mike Tyson did, like they doing like how they're doing with Canelo. They're taking away from what he's doing because it's him. Oh, he's supposed to be doing this. Oh, he's this, that, and the third. He's supposed to. No, this stuff is still challenging stuff here. This is still him going against bigger, taller guys.
No, I hear these guys. I'm just saying underdog though is kind of like just
underdog. These guys are taller. They're bigger. They got more weight on them. They got the longer reach advantage, and he's still deep ducking and weaving through shots to try to get into them and break down these bones and bodies. These are underdog stories here, but nobody's gonna give him that because it's Canelo.
Yeah, but I don't know, man. I hear what you're saying, but Tank, Tyson, Canelo, these are shorter guys, but they pack a mean punch, you know? So it's like, are you really an underdog?
What you're saying is, how often do you see a Tank? How often do you see a Tyson? How often do you see a Canelo? It's not often. It's not often that the shorter guy is the dominant guy. It's not often that the shorter guy is the one who people favor. It's not.
I think we're saying the same thing, but in different ways. I'm saying I agree with y'all, right? These guys are special, but because they're special, that's what I'm saying. They're not the underdog because everyone acknowledges Canelo for his other attributes. Like, again, Canelo being a body snatcher. You go, yeah, he may be 5'7", 5'8", whatever Canelo is, but you go in there and ring, he's leaving with something. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like,
and that's what I was saying.
Special.
He's been an underdog, even though he's special. He's still an underdog in there.
He's special, but he still has disadvantages at the end of the day. Just like Usyk, if he fights Fury, he's special, but he's still going to have disadvantages. And you know that, G, because you're banking on Fury taking advantage of all those disadvantages to beat him.
We're not talking about Fury and Usyk right now. You know what I'm saying? We're talking about Canelo right now.
Exactly. You know? That's what I feel like.
But it's the same. It's the same logic.
It's the same thing. He don't get the credit for it because he is at number one. Like what bro was saying earlier, man. When you're at number one, man, you don't get the luxury of the, you know. But Canelo, what he's doing it's impressive. We're gonna look back and everybody's gonna think about that. He was fighting all these guys, these 6'5", 6'6" guys. He was sitting, he was breaking them down. These guys that could have just, why couldn't these longer arm guys who was beating everybody else couldn't keep a Canelo off of him? Because there is greatness there, but he's still, and that's what makes it impressive, because it's the smaller guy doing this stuff. But yeah, to me, Canelo has always been and that's why I rock with him so much. You know what I'm saying? Because he's showing that it's all about skill and dedication. It's nothing about like size and all that. It's all about, you know what I'm saying? It's not about the dog, what is it, heart in the dog? It's about
it's not the size of the dog in the fight. It's right, the size of the fight in the dog.
Exactly.
Nah, and I thought to you, Ned, but before I thought to you, Ned, when you said that, what came to my mind was Sebastian Fundora, like the 6'6", 154 pounder, just destroying like Erickson Lubin. And I'm watching that fight like Lubin's at a huge disadvantage because this dude is so much taller. The reach is so much greater. And then he ended up getting knocked out by a shorter guy who clipped him. But before the shorter guy clipped him, he was whooping him. So I mean, it is interesting when you look at like those dynamics and everything. But
you seen Rocky. You seen Rocky at 5. You know what I'm saying? I mean, Rocky 4. Excuse me.
Yeah,
That was Rocky 4.
That
was Rocky 4. You seen the height?
TV.
Yo, I was saying. And if the world feel like Canelo's an underdog, I'm a bet on Canelo because that's what it is. It's like Benavidez and Bivol, yeah, they're talented fighters, but it's Canelo. It's not no Joe Smo or nothing like that. This is the semi-face of boxing. I'm gonna say this right now. The semi-face of boxing. But you know, Canelo is gonna keep his throne. You see the crowd. You see the crowd for Canelo, right? But it's Biggie. But that's what Canelo's doing. He's getting Biggie right now. And like I'm gonna stick by it. Watch your mouth, G. Fix your face, G. I didn't like it. I always said Canelo's gaining weight and he's trying to build his legacy. And there was
bigorexia.
Yes. Canelo's chasing cruiserweight, heavyweight. You know, he's like he want all the belts. And he want to be established in all the divisions. So, Canelo, is he the underdog? No, he's the bigger dog. And he's going to take on any opponents and any challenges. What's up, G?
I just like to say thank you, Ned. This is why I was like, to call Canelo an underdog when we got people like Ned here. He don't care about Canelo's size. He's like, Canelo's that great. He's going to run through these guys. You see what I'm saying?
I also said if Vegas has him as the underdog, I'm picking Canelo because that's even more money.
Because in your mind, you're like, I don't care. He's not an underdog because he's Canelo. That's all I'm saying. So that's how my argument about Trill about the size. I'm like, just because he's shorter, that doesn't mean he's the underdog now. There's a lot of shorter guys that are putting in damage in these divisions. You know what I mean? Like Loma is a short 135er putting damage. He's putting in mad work. Are we gonna be like, yo, Loma's an automatic underdog on a lot of these cases? Like, no, just because of his height.
Depending on who he's fighting, because a lot of guys he was the same height with, but depending on who he's fighting, if he's fighting a guy that's towering over him, you know what I'm saying?
I think there's a disconnect, because I think there's a slight misunderstanding of at least what I perceive what Trill said. Yeah. What I think, and you correct me if I'm wrong, was Canelo's dominance highlights the fact that boxing is about dedication, skill, and ability, because someone his height normally wouldn't be able to beat the fighters that he's facing. Just like Mike Tyson, someone Mike Tyson's height and size normally wouldn't be able to beat guys the size of the fighters he was able to beat. But because boxing isn't just a savage sport, boxing is the sweet science, boxing is technique, boxing is dedication, boxing is IQ, Tyson was able to dominate despite his physical attributes and limitations, and the same with Canelo. So that's why he rocks with Canelo. And those attributes are seen as a disadvantage to have shorter reach, to be a shorter fighter. Because if you're the taller fighter, you can utilize distance. You should have the advantage utilizing distance. Like, so that's how I took it. So from that perspective, he's saying based on physical attributes alone, Canelo is always the underdog. Although he is special, he has disadvantages. And if you are someone who can take advantage of his disadvantages, you can win, even if you're not special, like Bivol. Like, but anyways, maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
No, you nailed it. That's what I said. Verbatim.
That's exactly what he said.
Well, pretty much my argument would be that that's not necessarily an underdog, though. You know, like an underdog is literally everyone's thinking this is a small chance you're gonna win, right? The probability of you winning is slim. That makes you the underdog. But if you're going in there, although you may be shorter, but you're great at everything else, people are still going like, he may be shorter, but he's still gonna knock him out, or he's still gonna win. You're no longer the underdog. You know what I mean? Like you're projected to win. You know what I'm saying? So that's
everybody
why
are the casuals. Everybody are the casuals. And the reason why I asked you that is because I remember when Lennox Lewis fought Mike Tyson. And I love Mike. Mike, you know, for many years, Mike provided me entertainment in boxing.
Yeah.
But when he fought Lennox and all my homies, like I was in the middle of the hood back then, like, you know what I'm saying? I'm just on the block. Yeah, Mike's about to get him. And you know, Mike's American. Lennox Lewis is from the UK by way of Canada. I don't know, whatever he claims, that's not on me. UK by way of Canada, right? Nah, but on every hood, every block, they believed in Mike. And I'm telling them, like, yo, bro, Lennox is gonna whoop that ass. One, Mike is past his prime, Ned. He's past his prime. But two, he has all the physical advantages. Lennox is taller. He has the reach. He had everything. And the things that made Mike special, like Trill's talking about, the movement, he didn't have it anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
But still, the public thought Mike was going to win. A lot of people thought Mike was going to win. I think Mike might have been the favorite in that fight.
But that's optics. That's perception.
But to the real people who knows,
exactly,
he was an underdog.
Exactly. You know, but that's why it's like it's a little different with this Canelo versus Bivol and Benavidez situation. It's like these fights are closer than what people are thinking. So I don't know. The term underdog is just bothering me, but it's whatever. You know what I mean?
The little dog. You like that? He wants that term better. He wants the
little dog, man. He ain't gotta be an underdog. You know what I mean? He ain't under nobody. He just smaller than somebody. You know what I mean?
Yo, TV, did you go?
Yeah, I went. I spoke, but
you did?
You know, say like this. Elaborate on what I'm saying. I feel if the house has Canelo as the underdog, I'm going with Canelo all day. And you know, that's just more money I get paid. That's all.
I say yes, he's the underdog because of the unrealistic expectations that have been heaped upon him, right? He is the underdog because he underperformed in the public's eyes against John Ryder, right? Someone who's a durable, solid opponent, but the public doesn't care about that. The public acts like it's easy to knock someone out in general. First of all, if you've never been in a fight, if you never boxed, you never sparred, it's not easy to knock someone out. Like some people are easy to knock out, some people aren't, so it's not easy to do that, but he underperformed. So you look at what David Benavidez did in his last performance against Caleb Plant, right? Compared to what Canelo just did, yeah, people are going to be riding high on David Benavidez. Do the facts matter? No. The fact that Canelo actually stopped Caleb Plant, actually beat the quit in Caleb Plant, doesn't matter. Benavidez didn't beat the quit in Caleb Plant. That doesn't matter to anyone. The only thing that matters is when they last saw Benavidez, he was winning against Caleb Plant, and they give him more credit for being Caleb Plant than they actually gave Canelo for being Caleb Plant when Caleb Plant was the undefeated champion. But that's what we talk about expectations here. The smaller, older guy beat the undefeated Caleb Plant, and everybody said, all he did was pick on the undefeated champion. But when Benavidez did it, all of a sudden he was good. It reminds me of Floyd Mayweather back in the day. I'm telling you, it's the same double standard. But okay, Benavidez got the greatest win of his career after Canelo softened up Caleb Plant for him, and Benavidez still couldn't knock him out. Okay, but now I know there are people in the public who are going to watch that and think, oh, he couldn't knock out John Ryder, so now I know he can't beat Benavidez. Benavidez couldn't knock out Caleb. Go ahead, G. Make an excuse. Let's hear the excuse. Go ahead. I'm waiting for the excuse. Right on time. Go ahead, G.
No. I'm not making.
What's the excuse? Go ahead.
I'm coming to the aid to the defense of Benavidez for this one simple thing.
What's an excuse?
People's argument against, I remember against Caleb Plant was, this is Caleb Plant who just went toe-to-toe with Canelo. He has way more experience. He's going to go through Benavidez. That was the argument. And Benavidez still beat this guy even after his experience with Canelo. So we can't have it both ways where it's like, oh, well, he already lost to Canelo. You know what I mean? When it's like people were using that Canelo loss as the experience that he needed to beat Benavidez. That's what I'm saying. It's like you can't have it both ways. It's like it's either, yo, after you lost to Canelo, you was done, your career's done, or, you know, you got stronger, you got wiser, you got more experience from that loss.
My question to you is, what does that have to do with Canelo not getting credit for beating Caleb Plant when he was undefeated champion, and Benavidez getting credit for beating him when he already didn't have no belts? Who
didn't give Canelo credit for beating Caleb Plant?
A lot of people. G, are you kidding me?
I don't remember that.
So that's the point. So what you're saying is irrelevant. The experience, whatever, is irrelevant. When and I know this for a fact. When Canelo beat Caleb Plant, everybody was calling it a cherry. Everyone was like, oh, he cherry-picked the whole division. Of course, he was going to beat Caleb Plant. People were like, oh, he knocked out Caleb. Oh, it was like no one gave him credit
because he got a belt.
Yeah. Nobody gave him credit for being Caleb. But as soon as Benavidez did, all of a sudden, this solidified Benavidez. Why didn't it solidify Canelo? When not only did Canelo beat Caleb Plant, he stopped Caleb Plant when he was an undefeated champion.
Because it's not about who's right, it's about who's
so that's what I'm talking about. Nobody said anything about what you're talking about, G.
But Canelo's already been battle tested. This was Benavidez's step-up fight. So it's a little different.
That's real.
That's the only reason why it's a difference. It's like we don't know if Benavidez was going to rise to the occasion.
It's an excuse because at the end of the day, Canelo didn't get no credit for beating the same dude when he was undefeated and when he had the belt.
You're not giving it as just due. Canelo's not getting credit for stopping the guy and breaking his orbital bone than a person that went the distance with him.
And let me just add to that, Trill, because I want to get him while I got him on the ropes real quick. And listen to what you just said. Because Canelo's battle tested and Benavidez isn't, which means you're holding Canelo's greatness against him. You're holding the fact that Canelo is actually someone who's battle tested because he has the courage to take on big fights because he's been in big fight after big fight. So now when he accomplishes something great, you don't give him any credit for it. But someone who's been fighting mediocre talent his whole career and in fights, Canelo's leftovers, now he gets no credit for it.
I'm not taking away no credit from Canelo. You asked a question, I'm just giving a justification on why people are holding Canelo to a different standard than Benavidez. And it's only because of the fact that Canelo has a more lengthier resume than a Benavidez. That's it. I'm not personally comparing the two. You know,
at the end of the day, man, like we're real. We're the boxing bros. We're real. They just want to see Canelo lose. It got nothing to do with nothing. You know that this guy is the older fighter. He's been challenging. He got the more wear and tear. He's the smaller guy with the shorter reach. Everything they throw at Canelo, they just want to see him lose. When you get to this point, they just ha, told you he was what he was.
Exactly.
After he did everything he did, ha.
Bro, exactly. And that's what it is. Because remember, and it's out there. You can watch the video that we put out there. Mm-hmm. When Shane Mosley and Oscar De La Hoya were the pay-per-view attractions and Floyd Mayweather called them out, what did Jim Lampley and Roy Jones say? Why would they give him an opportunity? He's not a pay-per-view attraction. He doesn't bring anything to the table. He needs to fight someone else in order to build his name up before he can get a fight. But as soon as people want to fight Floyd, they want pay-per-view attractions, but they be right there, Floyd, when you're going to fight this guy, when you're going to fight that guy. The same thing with Canelo. Everybody's saying, "Oh, Canelo, when you gonna fight Benavidez?" What do you say? It needs to be worth it, right? The same thing they were saying for the other people. But what it is they want to see Floyd lose. They want to see Canelo lose, so they want him to fight Benavidez because they think Benavidez is the guy who can beat him. So he says, "Why don't they fight each other? Why don't they build their name up so that it's worth my while to fight them?" So Benavidez did that. Congratulations to him. He beat Caleb Plant. There's still other guys out there he can fight and continue to build his resume up. Charlo just came back. Demetrius Andrade's out there. He can fight one of those guys.
Get in there with Ryder.
Yeah, he can get in there. Let's see if he can stop Ryder. I bet you. I mean, Canelo's already softened him up for him like he did. Caleb Plant. So maybe perhaps
he couldn't get Caleb Plant out.
He can never win.
And he couldn't get Caleb Plant out there.
What you mean he can never win? He can win. He can fight. He can fight Jamal Charlo, or he could fight Demetrius Andrade. And then the winner of that fight can then call out Canelo.
Nah, I was just
at the end of the day,
about
Canelo
the fight Ryder, he was like automatically like, Canelo already softened up Ryder, so it's like there's no point of fighting Ryder then. You know what I mean? Like,
and it would have been no chance of fighting Plant then.
Well, let me ask you a question. Why did Benavidez wait to fight Plant? Because Plant wanted to fight him before. They said no. So then he waits until after Plant gets knocked out, and then that's when he fights Plant.
Oh no, bro! I even shitted on Twitter. The manager of both gentlemen, the dude, I forgot the Mexican guy's name. He literally was like, they could have fought. They wanted to fight like 5 years ago.
The Mexican guy?
Yeah, I forgot the dude's name.
The Mexican guy, right?
Yeah, he's Mexican.
Okay,
he's Mexican.
I just want to make sure.
He works for PBC, and he was saying he told them both no, not to do it because if y'all fought at that time, y'all only make like around 20,000 each. He's like, we have to build up the fight, and now it's worth more than $1 million.
Okay, right. So at that time, So G, let me just ask you a question. So at that time, I'm assuming Benavidez is undefeated and Caleb Plant was still undefeated.
Exactly, correct.
The Mexican manager didn't think it was the right time to make that fight.
Correct.
So when the Mexican manager said it was time to make the fight, Caleb Plant had 1 L and David Benavidez was still undefeated, correct?
Okay, yep.
Okay, so the right time to make the fight was after Caleb lost, right?
No, it was.
Okay,
cool. Mexican was looking out for the Mexican.
Cool. Sounds good to me.
Now, basically, all I wanted to say.
Oh, that ain't the way it is, right, G? But let's say the roles were reversed and Caleb was a black guy. You know what I mean? Like, come on.
I'm just gonna wrap. No matter what Canelo does, if he beats Benavidez or he beats Bivol, he beats both of them, there's always going to be somebody else. They're going to throw in Morrell. They're going to throw in somebody else. They're going to try to that's just how it's going to be.
They're going to move the goalposts. That's all it is.
That's what they do. And I'm just going to make this point and I'm done. Sure, you can take us home. That's what happens with greatness. Anthony Joshua win the ring and dominated Jermaine Franklin. And everyone talks about the fact he couldn't knock Jermaine Franklin out. But they can't tell me any fight where you've seen Jermaine Franklin knocked out. But now Anthony Joshua's a bum because he didn't knock out Jermaine Franklin. Or his performance was underwhelming because he didn't knock out Jermaine Franklin. Dominated Jermaine Franklin. Beat him convincingly, something that Dillian White didn't do. And Dillian White got the dub when many people thought he didn't. Or else Jermaine Franklin would have been undefeated. But now the public perception is that Anthony Joshua is a bum. And now what has that done? That has actually shifted the momentum to the point where people are like, he's an underdog in fights against certain people he normally wouldn't have been an underdog in. So if you're asking me, is Canelo going to be the underdog? I believe he will be the underdog in these fights because of unrealistic expectations, and that's the reality.
Let us know how you feel in the comment section. Please like and subscribe. Check us out on Instagram and Twitter. And please check out our podcast on all major streaming services. We are the Boxing Bros.